at the bottom.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are so excited that you're here. It's always so much fun to have the opportunity to just do a deep dive into our different patch technologies. So we're going to be continuing that tonight. But first, I'll be one of your co-hosts. I'm Nikki McCutchen with Vicky Mawad, and like I said, we're super excited to just dive a little bit deeper into the studies and patch placement and all of that for our X49 technology tonight. But before we get started, Vicki and I are not medical doctors. We always recommend, we want to do our medical disclaimer first that all LifeWave products are not intended to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any dis-ease. If you are pregnant or nursing or on any medications, please make sure to check with your preferred healthcare practitioner first. So with that, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the X49, and then we will dive a little bit deeper. So it is one of our patches that turn on AHK copper peptide. So that is a daughter peptide to GHK copper peptide, which is what gets elevated with the X39. So you may hear us tonight talk a little bit about synergistic effects because it's really hard sometimes to separate the two because the synergistic effects of the combination is so powerful. Like any amazing mother-daughter combination, this is true for this patch technology as well. It does help with muscle, brain, heart, and skin. So we're going to dive deeper into each one of those. We also always recommend with any type of patch usage, the proper diet and exercise, hydration. But when they did the studies on the X49, they only did the recommendations were with mild exercise. So when we dive into some of those studies, just know that, that's kind of how, they started with the studies for fitness based, but the only recommendation they added was mild exercise. So Vicki, where would you like to, oh, and the other thing I forgot to say, so most of the time, this product is one that we recommend for athletes because of the improvements in strength and stamina. As well as the interesting thing is that it's also recommended many times for women over 50 because of the studies that have shown and proven that it will stop bone loss and increase bone density. So it's a huge help as well for age-related sarcopenia and just muscle loss as we age. So that's just kind of a brief overview, real quick overview of what we recommend, if anybody is wanting to benefit those areas. But as we dive in, you'll see that it makes you want to wear it no matter whether you're an athlete or whether you're a woman over 50 or not, because the benefits are truly phenomenal. So where would you like to start tonight, Vicki? Oh, I think you got muted. You got muted.
Oops.
There you go.
I had a little sounds around me, so I didn't want to, while you were talking, I didn't want it to be interrupt. So yeah, the X49 is our other stem cell patch. And like Nikki said, this works synergistically with our X39. I wear this every day. I love it. It is very, very beneficial. So let's talk about what the X49 stands for. Give me a second. Oops. The X49 is a combination of alanine, histidine, lysine, and copper, which is also known as a copper tripeptide. So it's mainly known for hair growth and follicle health. We have plenty of testimonials where people have had their hair growing thicker, and not just thicker and more hair, but it's actually darker, like when they were younger. So that's amazing in itself. I have a lady from church. She's 83 years young, and she started using the X49. She's been using the patch technology for months before that, but she was inquiring about the X49, and I had suggested it because of bone density, and she used it for 6 months. And you can clearly see the difference. Her hair was white, very white, and you can see the darkness of the color growing in. And you don't really know until you see it side by side. That's why using this technology, take all the pictures that you can, because you're going to notice, you're going to start looking younger. People are going to say, "What are you doing?" And it's just a testimony. So it's mainly known for hair growth and follicle health. It's also sometimes used in skincare, for anti-aging, antioxidant properties. It helps reverse the thinning of the skin as we get older. So skin rejuvenation, it helps with wound healing, promotes collagen along with our X39. And this X49, what is active in the X49, is used in shampoos and serums. So it's kind of like the hair club for men or something like, I don't even know if I'm saying it properly, but it is used for hair growth. So it's used in shampoos and serums for that very thing. Another list of benefits, and this is just amazing because, every week we do this and it's one patch, but all of these benefits. So I don't know about you, but when I see the benefits, I just raise my hand, sign me up.
Absolutely.
So it
Mm.
supports athletic performance. It boosts strength and stamina. It's great for cardiovascular health, reduces muscle soreness. So after working out, improves bone health, protects from oxidative stress. It also protects us from 5G and EMF waves, EMF radioactive waves. And I just have a list here that I will show at the end because it is comparison with pricing. Did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So so a few comments on what she talked about. So with the hair growth, that would be classified as a medical claim. So we can't make any medical claims with what we do. But the interesting thing is that when you actually look at the research, so Lauren Picard actually back in his research. So he was the scientist that found GHK over 50 years ago. So he also then found AHK. And in the research, he shows that it improves hair growth by 10 times. So that's actually on. So we're just talking about, not the patch, but AHK by itself, improving that hair growth by 10 times. So that puts it on the same level as minoxidil, which is the medication that people will go on to help with hair loss. So just know that, but that's we haven't done any studies on that because we just basically study for fitness, and that's what our studies are around, is truly around fitness, nothing that does medical claims. So the other interesting things, just like support, for your brain, it improves that stress response. So it helps with that, promotes proper energy distribution, which is again why our athletes will wear that, because it will just help them have that stamina and strength to go however long their athletic event is, whatever's going on with them there. It triggers dopamine production. So again, the help and the support for the brain. This one is so interesting to me, and I don't think I ever clued in on this one before, but it increases motivation. So even that, again, doesn't matter who you are, what age you are, if you're athletic, not athletic, like if you have any type of, thing going on with motivation, then this is a fantastic patch for that. So I love that they were able to measure that somehow in the test results as well. So triggers serotonin production, which is going to be also a benefit to the brain. But the interesting thing is that serotonin is made in the gut. So helping with that gut as well. So supporting better moods, supports blood vessel lining, supports the cardiovascular health. So it's just a very long list of what you get with this technology. What else would you like to add, Vicki?
Forgot I was muted again. So yeah, the study that was done for bone and muscle health for women ages 40 to 80 years of age, it has been shown that it helps improve the bone density. It helps with symptoms of osteoporosis. So it helps to decrease the breakdown of bones. So it actually helps to strengthen the AHK in the technology. And the longer you wear the technology, the more benefits you're going to receive. So I started using this just for athletic performance. Sometimes like after working out, the recovery process, but I never, intended to use it for anything other than that. And then when I heard it was great for bone health, I'm like, great, sign me up. I already got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But another interesting thing. Like you said, it supports the dopamine pathways. It helps with serotonin production, and serotonin production regulates a wide range of bodily functions. So, and some people don't really connect the two, because like you said, it's created in your gut. So it helps with digestion, sleep, wound healing, nausea, appetite, bone health, sexual health, and serotonin is needed for mood regulation. So I think all of us ladies could go, yes, yes, we need that. For
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely. Yes. It's interesting that it's like, over 50 ladies for for your bone health, but ding, 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 ding. There's this other little thing over here that we may want to pay attention to.
Yes. And
Our
these are just
husbands may go ahead and buy the patch for us, right?
the added benefits are just amazing, because sometimes it does things for people that are not listed. And that's the beauty of the technology, is that you don't know how you're going to react to it, but we know that you're going to get some kind of benefits from it. So, the top benefits from X49 is it helps muscle tone and strength. It helps maintain lean muscle mass in the body. So that's important, not just your bones, but your muscles as well as we get older, right? It's for better workouts, more endurance, and faster recovery. Supports circulation and blood flow for a healthy heart and arteries. It protects and rebuilds some mass naturally, bone mass naturally, I'm sorry. So it's key for long-term strength and stability, especially as we get older. Our legs get weak and sometimes we have a hard time walking around. So it's good for that. It's great for a leaner physique when combined with a healthy lifestyle, like Nikki was saying. So body composition, and really anything that you want to do with your health. Definitely lifestyle changes is the first thing. So that's the way I like to look at things. It helps speed up healing from physical activities, soreness and strain. And here we are with the hair again, thicker, fuller hair when combined with the X39. It helps you feel alive and energized. Like Nikki was saying, it helps with motivation. And when you pair this with the X39, you start to feel younger, you perform better, and it's great for regeneration.
Yeah, I will definitely say I've definitely noticed the hair growth for sure. So, and then of course, just even the lactic acid removal and recovering from exercise, I've noticed all of that. So the other interesting thing is that in the test results, so even though their recommendation was to do mild exercise, the people that were in the tests or in the studies still had their strength still more than doubled, and they actually lost body fat. So there were really no other recommendations other than to just put on the patch. So most of the other interesting thing about this that this is what David Schmidt figured out with AHK when he was doing the studies and performing, thinking through the hypothesis and how he wanted to do these things, is that most of the research that's out there on AHK is from the cosmetic side. So what we're talking about with the hair growth and the wrinkles. And so our studies then all focus around fitness. And so the interesting thing, like we're talking about, is that the properties of AHK actually go way beyond just fitness. And so we definitely see that anecdotally with, people who are using it. So the other interesting thing is just the regular research on just alanine. So the A that's in the AHK. So on the alanine, it's very interesting what they're finding with Alzheimer's and ALS. And so that research is pretty significant. Again, when you think that you could have something that could potentially support your brain in that way, is truly phenomenal as well. So AHK also, so when we're talking about cardiovascular health, what it does is that it gets involved in the repair of the endothelial lining. So that lining of your blood vessels, and so your entire cardiovascular system. So I even encourage you just to Google endothelial cells. And when you look at all the things that the endothelial cells do in your body, even just that is so phenomenal to have those cells supported in our body. body from this technology and have those turned on so that they're working properly and have what they need. And then when we're talking about cardiovascular system and the blood vessels, we go back to blood pressure. So in the test results, the X49 showed that it was helping the systolic number, which is that top number. And then when you combine it with the X39 is when you get that synergistic effect. So systolic and diastolic, so top and bottom number, are both benefited to have improvements in blood pressure overall. So, but like I said, even with just X49, you're going to get some improvements there. But that combination, if you have any kind of blood pressure issues, is going to be really great for you as well. So also when thinking about cardiovascular system, this would have to do with your pulse rate as well. And they showed in the studies that the pulse rate actually decreases, which would be a direct result of improvements in the cardiovascular system. So what else you got, Vicki?
That is so good. And it helps my father because he has that AFib. So he wears the X39 and the X49 every day. And today he had a little knee brace on. And I said, Dad, what's going on with your knee? And he's like, oh, it just hurts, when the weather's bad. He's like, oh, it hurts, I'm getting old. And I'm like, put some patches on and put some more patches there. You got them on your body. You can use more than one.
Yes, exactly.
So, yes, he was patching up when I was leaving. But so yeah, X49, I've used this for three plus years since it came out. So from the very beginning, one of the conventions that we went to, I was so excited to know what the new product was because every convention we had something new coming out, and it was the X49, and there was so much hype about this, and I was like, I'm going to wear it, I'm going to use it, and I'm just so thankful that I did. Because, like I said, I used it for workouts in the beginning, but I'm just so impressed because like the intensity and duration that I can perform at when I am working out is amazing. And it's not anything like a drink would be able to do, those energy drinks that people use before they go to the gym, and they're not good for you. Lots of stimulants in there.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, it's more reps. I'm able to lift more weights, and like we were talking about body composition, and it helps with muscle recovery. So that's the most interesting thing for me personally that I have noticed. And definitely hair growth, especially like eyebrows, Nikki,
Yes.
for sure.
What is happening?
Definitely.
Yes,
David's
had to
got
go
some
back to
eyebrows
being a
going too.
teenager and I'm plucking all of them. What is happening? This was fine.
We're not
But it's always
complaining.
good, right? Because you think, okay, like if I can have hair growth, that is resetting my body to a younger, healthier state. So usually as you age, there's hair loss. So you're always happy to know that there must be things going on in there to reset. So yeah, so I just want to talk a little bit more about the fat loss because I think, most people that's exciting. So so what happens is it increases your ability to burn calories and lose fat. So once again, the synergy of the X39 X49 allows you to burn more calories when you wear them together. So not just the ability to have strength and stamina, but also to have that calorie burn and fat loss, I think is phenomenal. So let's talk a little bit about where to wear the patch. So Pastor Ed did put in the chat, he put the placement. So again, these are where the clinical studies are done, but you can wear them anywhere. It's going to be activated because the light comes out of us from everywhere, that infrared light. But for David Schmidt recommends that for women, they wear the X49 below their belly button, and men, and then the X39 we obviously wear on our C7 or wherever you want to. But men can flip them back and forth however much they want. So just know that as well. Do you know why? I heard him say why he recommended that, but it's not coming to me right now. Oh, do you know? Yeah, it came to me when I was saying that. You got it.
Go ahead. You can.
So he was just they were talking about how it just may be a little bit too strong, in the stimulation for us. And so he just found that it was better for women below the belly button. Do you know anything beside that, Vicki?
So, especially menopausal women or postmenopausal, any kind of hormone related issues. I know stomach 36 on the left leg is very, very good for everyone to wear there, besides the other two placements. But like Nikki said, you can wear it anywhere on the body, really.
So on the left leg and not on the right leg?
Yes, on the left leg. I mean, you can wear it anywhere on the body, but for some reason, it's just the left leg. So
Oh, interesting. Okay. I did not know
that's a
that.
question I have to ask.
Okay, yeah, I did not know that. Now, I have seen acupuncturists talk about wearing it on that ST36 on the right leg to help with the 5G, so I think we're going to get the Faraday cage that gets created no matter, because David's recommendation in clinical studies are below the belly button or on the back of the neck. So combining it with the X39, I think we're going to get that blocking of 5G no matter where it is. But for some reason, acupuncturists in what they were seeing, we're recommending that ST36 on the right leg. So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's always good to know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
let's talk about the other two placements that are recommended. So one is the GB14 on the back of the neck, and the other one is the CV7 below the belly button. And those are extraordinary vessels. So they're very, very helpful for many different issues in the body to promote overall well-being. So the one on the back of the neck is great for your spine, your brain function, your immune system. It's also good for mental and emotional well-being. So that's a great place for it if you have any issues with those, or if you're wanting to use the technology for something related to that, that would be the place to wear it. And then the CV7, it regulates energy throughout the body, and it's great for reproductive health. So infertility issues in men and women. And it's great for fluid metabolism. So it prevents fluid retention in the body. So it helps keep everything flowing. So it's like, you can't get the gook stuck in your system. You got to keep it flowing. The energy has to continually flow through the body. So yeah, the GB is the governing vessel on the back, and the CV is the conception vessel on the front.
Yes. So when things are stuck in the body, that usually results in inflammation and pain. So stagnation in the body. So yeah, absolutely want things to keep moving. So yeah. So if we talk about, let's go back to the studies that talk about the strength. So they did a study that was for 60 days. And what it showed is that it doubled their strength. People were able to double their strength within 60 days, which is truly phenomenal. And when you think about, it makes it a great alternative to anabolic steroids or testosterone for building muscle. So instead of using those types of things, you are able to just put on a patch and have that strength increase there. So even the test results showing strength increasing within the first week. So 80% improvements in push-ups, 47% improvements in squats, 100% for biceps, and 75%.
You're muted.
Let's see. Did we get the 75% in grip strength? Did everybody hear that?
I didn't hear that.
Okay. 100% for biceps. Okay, 75% for grip strength. So when you think about grip strength, there's a lot of studies that they've done that show grip strength even in your lifespan. So the amount of grip that you have is directly correlated to lifespan. They've done multiple studies, not LifeWave. I'm just talking about studies that are out there on grip strength for aging and lifespan. So when you think about as we get older and we're trying to open the jars and, we're struggling with that, the ability to have something like this technology that we can just put on that then's going to support even that grip strength is phenomenal. So I am very, very thankful for that. And the other thing that's super interesting, so if we just think about, high level athletes and thinking about them. So this is opening up something completely brand new for athletes because it's that 1% difference in performance to whether they get a gold medal or whether they don't place at all. So having that support in their cardiovascular system, in their strength and stamina, in their mental cognition, their ability to react and think of whatever's going on, truly makes a huge difference for athletes. And across the board, you know, when I have athletes that use this, they tell you every time. Like I have athletes who will not, they're just like, they must have their patches because they notice that recovery time being so huge. I even have one athlete that we have worked with, that Margie's worked with, that he actually had a back injury, was told that he would never play sports again. Within 2 weeks of wearing the X39, X49, he was back on the football field playing football again. And any injury he's gotten, he's wears his patches, puts on his patches, even injuries so much so that they thought that they were going to have to take him to the emergency room the next day. It was like, okay, well, let's go home and, you know, we'll just go in tomorrow. So not that, you know, not that critical, but critical enough that you're thinking that you're going to have to go in the next day. Right. And he got up the next morning. He's like, no, I'm fine. Out the door and off to school. And, you know, totally fine. Was at practice that day when he had really seriously injured his ankle. So just again, when they're so young, but then having that ability to create and generate their body access to being able to make even more stem cells is truly just phenomenal and makes a huge difference for athletes. So what else, Nikki?
I wanted to go over like the cost of AHK. So because they put it in cosmetics, so you can also get AHK by an injection, which is about $135. They sell it in a topical cream, and that is about $145. They also have scalp foam that is about $135. And I always like to go for the prices of our technology. So our X49 is $99.95. And if you buy the performance bundle with the X39, you get it for $179.95. And that's both patches together. So, I mean, you can't beat the benefits. And then you're getting all of these benefits, not just, you know, hair regrowth with the injection, topical creams or shampoos, scalp foam. You're getting so much more besides just the hair.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you're talking about, like, even again, we're talking about peptide injections. So this truly is a peptide therapy. So we are in the class of peptide therapy. So those injections, you know, like she was talking about, like I found was $200 for a peptide therapy injection of AHK. So, but then thinking about that, in those injections, there's always other products. There's always other things in there that may not be completely clean. And so if you really, you know, are concerned about clean, you know, products, then it may not be something you want to do. The great thing about this technology, like we say over and over again, which makes it far superior to any cream, injection, anything like that you're going to do, is because this is turning on what God already put there. So it's already in our bodies. It is just supporting that divine design so that it can work the way our bodies can work the way that God designed them, resetting them to a younger, healthier state. So truly far superior on all levels, like Vicki was saying, all the other things that you get versus just the hair or just the skin or whatever it might be. So, or just an injection site. This is allowing your body to decide where it needs it, where it wants to use it, how it wants to use it, and not have any interference for any type of toxin that may be in one of those injections, creams, whatever. So truly far, far superior to anything else out there on the market.
Amen.
Yes. What else you got?
I choose LifeWave. So I like to look back on, especially when we're talking about a certain product. So we're talking about the X49, and I like to think back on how I've used this patch in different ways that are usually not recommended or suggested. So I've used it for someone that had sciatica pain and myself as well. I was using so many different patches and I was getting some relief, but not much. And I incorporated the X49 in there and voila, so thankful to have this. I've also used this for someone with MS symptoms because her legs and her muscles in the legs were very, very, you know, just diminishing. So she needed strength in her legs. So we were putting the X49s on her hips. So one on each hip. It was 2 a day. So that's actually made, and we already talked about the stomach 36. So yeah, that's about it. I think you covered everything.
Yeah, so let's talk about if you're vegan and you don't eat a lot of meat or dairy products. So the alanine portions of the AHK, you need to make sure that you have some source of alanine, in your diet. So there's other ways to get it, but usually you're probably going to have to take some type of beta alanine supplement. So alanine is readily available in primarily meat products, but it's also in dairy. The other thing is just making sure that you have enough copper in your diet. So if you don't like liver, then dark chocolate, usually at 90%, or higher, is the best, choice for helping with that copper, just a little square a day of that dark chocolate. So many people would prefer to eat the chocolate, even if it's, not as sugary tasting, but versus the liver. So I've tried to add some, organ meats into mixtures of food that I have, done, and have regular meat in there too. But I still haven't been able to fool Chad quite yet. So I think I'm still putting too much in there, but eventually maybe I'll figure out how much I can put in there. So anyway, so
That's
yeah,
the
just
beauty of
another
cooking.
consideration. Yes, yes,
They get the
absolutely.
goodness and they don't even know it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes. Well, do you have anything else tonight about
No, but
X49?
I'm so glad you brought up the vegan, because I was like, that's the one thing that I forgot to write down was that. Yeah. So yeah, vegan, vegetarian definitely need the alanine in the body.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, so thank you all for joining us. If you guys want to ask questions, we will go ahead and stay on, but we're going to stop the recording for now. So, but stay on. We'll stop the recording and we can answer any questions that you guys might have. So, with that, we pray blessing over each and every one of you. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Good
God
night. God
bless.
bless.